You might not be aware of this, but I have a deep, paralyzing fear of clowns. So picture my shock when I was watching The Amazing World of Gumball, laughing at Gumball's ridiculousness, charmed by Darwin's innocence, and amused by the show's strange, offbeat humor, when suddenly, something subtle in the background caught my eye. Barely noticeable at first, but unmistakably there. A figure. A clown. Pale and wrinkled, with pitch-black slit-like eyes and a red nose. He wasn't part of the main story, yet, somehow, he appeared in multiple episodes, always lurking, always observing, and always, without fail, scaring the absolute hell out of me. The clown's first real appearance takes place in the episode The Procrastinators, and he's not just a random extra. He shows up as some kind of ghoul, a failed children's entertainer, and even a mailman. His unsettling presence has ignited a firestorm of fan theories and speculation. Some argue that he's a clear homage to Pennywise from Stephen King's It. Others think he symbolizes something darker, something more sinister. But we'll get to that part later. In The Ghouls, believe it or not, it's revealed that the clown is actually a ghost, one who struggles to frighten preschoolers. But in a twist of irony, he ends up scaring Gumball and Darwin without even trying. Then, in The Curse of Elmore, Tobias wears a mask that perfectly resembles the clown's face to scare others, blurring the boundary between disguise and reality even further. Fans have debated his true purpose. Some believe he's not watching the characters at all, but us, the viewers. That he breaks the fourth wall just by existing. And that theory makes my skin crawl. Others suggest he's planning something horrible for Gumball and Darwin, but never goes through with it because we're watching. The clown's repeated and eerie appearances have led to chilling theories that he's fully aware he's fictional, injecting an extra layer of meta-horror into the show, and completely ruining my day in the process. So, who is this clown? A harmless background gag? A representation of something buried in our subconscious? Or something much more disturbing? Join me as we dive into one of the creepiest mysteries in the amazing world of Gumball, finally solved. Let's stop and truly examine this clown. Who is he? What is he? I've been watching this show for years and never noticed him, until someone pointed him out. But once I saw him, I couldn't unsee him. His first appearance, again, is in The Procrastinators, Season 3, Episode 18. Gumball and Darwin are doing everything they can to avoid doing their chores. Nicole keeps telling them to take out the trash, but instead, Gumball insists he needs to complain about it on Elmore Plus first. He logs on for just a second, and time flies by. He checks it again, and time warps once more. They're caught in the trap of procrastination. They end up wasting even more time. They sunbathe until they turn into raisins. They start a candy-catching competition with their mouths. Anything to avoid doing their chores. Then, while drawing portraits of each other, Darwin sketches Gumball, with the creepy clown behind him. Dude, we're doing portraits. Why'd you draw a scary clown staring through the window? Soon after, they break into song. Take out the trash, it could be done in a flash. Well, I guess we had to do it eventually, they admit. Then, in the musical number, Nobody's a Nobody, the clown shows up again. It's supposed to be a warm, uplifting moment where all background characters are included. He appears too. Doesn't speak, barely moves, just stares. And the creepiest part? He keeps showing up in later episodes. In The Ghouls, Season 5, Episode 30, the clown's role takes a darker turn. It's revealed he's a ghost, one who can't even scare little kids. That revelation doesn't make him less scary. It makes him more disturbing. He's not just a background gag, he's a monster who doesn't belong. Then, in the choices, there he is again, standing in the background, not blinking, not moving, just there. In The Curse of Elmore, Tobias wears a clown mask that looks exactly like him. And no one questions it. No one says, why is Tobias wearing a terrifying clown mask? That's when things escalate. The clown isn't just lurking anymore. He's being warned. The line between him and everyone else is gone. In The Joy, While everyone is laughing hysterically, the clown just stands still, unaffected, unmoved. And in the deal, as things spiral into bizarre territory, he reappears silently in the background. It's as if he's immune to logic, time, or story progression. The clown has appeared in at least 13 episodes, possibly more, and here's the worst part. He never changes. Same wrinkled skin, same soulless eyes, same red nose. Always identical. And the more you notice him, the more it starts to feel like he's watching you, not the characters. So again, who is he? A joke that went too far? A ghost in the machine? Or something even more terrifying? Let's explore why this clown is genuinely terrifying. It's not just the fact that he's a creepy clown. There's something fundamentally wrong with him. His design is wrong. His pale, leathery skin looks like it's been roasting in the sun for decades. His narrow black eyes are like dark holes in a void. That little red nose, which should make him funny, only makes him worse. It's as if the show is mocking you. Hey, look at this goofy clown! But deep down, your instincts scream. Even his voice, done by Mick Graves, who also voices Banana Joe, adds to the unease. It's monotone, detached, unbothered, way too calm. It's not the voice of a character in a kid's show. It's the voice of something that doesn't belong. He doesn't yell, doesn't chase, doesn't attack. He just stands. And the most disturbing part is that he doesn't actually do anything. No violence, no interactions. He just exists. Like a glitch. A leftover from a broken simulation. In a show filled with chaos and motion, his stillness is terrifying. It stands out. It feels like a signal that something is wrong. Something your brain can't quite explain. In a universe like Gumball's, where weirdness is the norm, the clown is an anomaly. A background figure, ignored and invisible, yet hauntingly present. So now we have to ask, where did this clown actually come from? Elmore is known for being bizarre. You've got a T-Rex wearing a school uniform, a banana with social anxiety, a rainbow with a mustache. But even in a town where logic checks out and never comes back, this clown still doesn't feel right. He feels off. You'd think someone would have addressed him by now. A joke, a throwaway line, an episode dedicated to him. But there's nothing. No backstory, no nickname, no Clowny the Ghoul being late for gym class. He just exists, always watching, always wrong. And that's what makes him terrifying. In a show where even the smallest side characters get recurring gags or context, this one doesn't. He doesn't grow, doesn't speak, doesn't evolve. He's just there. Blank, staring, reappearing. Almost like he's not from Elmore at all. So let's go full conspiracy mode. What if the clown isn't part of the show? What if he's something else? A narrative glitch, a parasitic entity. Think about it. Gumball constantly breaks the fourth wall. There's probably someone watching us right now. They literally say. The characters argue with animators. They erase their own files. They openly admit they're fictional. This is a cartoon that knows it's a cartoon. But what happens when something slips in? Something even they don't recognize? That's where the clown comes in. He doesn't interact with anyone, doesn't join in on the chaos, doesn't play along with the logic-breaking insanity. He only appears when everything else is already falling apart. Back to the procrastinators. Time is unraveling. Nothing makes sense. And there he is, just standing, watching the show cave in on itself. It's almost like he thrives in moments when the story's logic is at its weakest, when the wall between fiction and reality starts to crumble. And that's more than just unsettling. That's terrifying. In The Ghouls, we're told he's a failed horror monster. Can't even scare kindergartners. Funny, right? But that's not really what he's doing. He's not trying to scare the characters. He's trying to scare us. The kids barely notice him. But you did. And now he's stuck in your head like a cursed pop-up ad from the abyss. He was never meant to scare them. He was meant to scare you. And that brings us to the most chilling theory. What if this clown isn't a character at all? What if he's something else? A stray idea, a digital mistake, a visual bug the animators either forgot to remove or added on purpose. Maybe he started as a silly background joke, a design someone snuck in, but they kept using him and using him until he became something more, something aware. Because he doesn't feel random, his appearances are too specific. He shows up in weird episodes, ones with strange pacing, eerie vibes, and meta jokes that bleed into real anxiety. He appears when stories are already broken. He doesn't add chaos. He doesn't fix anything. He just is. Like a test pattern to see who's really watching. He doesn't tell jokes. He doesn't follow the script. But if you see him once, you'll start seeing him everywhere. Like a virus spreading through scenes, feeding off your attention. Maybe that's all he wants. To be seen. Not by Gumball, not by Darwin, not by anyone in Elmore, but by you. Because if there's one rule that creepy things in cartoons always follow, it's this. Once they notice you, you notice them right back. So maybe the clown was never from Elmore. Maybe he never belonged there. Maybe he came from outside the story, a visual hitchhiker, tagging along unnoticed until someone finally saw him and said, "Wait, who the hell is that?" And in that moment, he became real. Because we made him real. We gave him meaning. We gave him power. Where did he come from? A joke? A bug? Some animator's creepy idea? We might never know. But one thing's certain. He doesn't act like he belongs. Because maybe he doesn't. And if that's true, then the clown isn't a character. He's a question the show never meant to ask. And now that we've asked it, you'll never unsee him.